Alright, cunts, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? Artwod is an online platform that is the reason that I can draw like I can. Let me pull up an example. This is my new YouTube intro. I can do this because of artwod. Anyways, that's just like from my streaming. But what the fuck am I trying to say? Nobody knows. But yeah, artwod gives you the work, right? They actually give you proper work to be able to draw from imagination. They teach you how to draw simple forms. They teach you how to manipulate those forms. They teach you dozens of different type of manipulations that can occur with those forms that you can practice of your own accord, right? You will likely practice it 10 times. I will practice it 10 100 million times, right? That's a real number. But either way, practice, draw along, right? I don't need to fuck the YouTube algorithm, fuck trying to play the game. I'm just doing a relative intro, so anybody who's particularly new and that 1% who's like, I like this guy's voice and I like the cut of his jib, right? They join me in the journey. So what are we doing? We're practicing portraits. We're doing the second exercise of the second lesson of the first section of the Artwad Portrait Roadmap, which teaches you how to draw portraiture, utilizing volume, simple forms, right? Draftsmanship, drawing from imagination, all that shit. But we're like way early on. Again, it's probably gonna take me a year to do this, but what am I trying to do? I'm looking at a portrait reference on Pinterest. There's a Pinterest board that I follow. There's multiple Pinterest boards that you can just follow, pull up, but I'm looking at, in this case, this girl's face, right? I'm projecting a box onto her head. The second lesson is to just draw the box that her face is oriented in, right? Like draw the box that you believe her face is encompassed in, right? I'm gonna go a step further and I'm gonna imagine the sphere, the perfect sphere inside the perfect cube, right? The box. God damn it, this fucking burp. And then I'm gonna project and visualize the center lines inside that cube, inside that box. If that sounds difficult, it is. Anyways, I'm done. The fucking YouTube bullshit of always having to repeat myself. Anybody who is actually like a consistent listener must be tired of this. I am too, don't worry. But apart from that, I do have something I want to talk about today. The thing is, this woman's ear is actually hidden, so I'm just gonna assume we're seeing the top of her face because her eye is on this angle, right? So that is going to insinuate that unless I'm seeing the very bottom of her face like this, we're going to assume that actually means her face is like this, right? Like this is the box. And look at that, I still created a perfect diagonal. No, I didn't. Anyways, but either way, something to talk about. So there's an artist called Rusty underscore draw, RASTI underscore draw, right? By the way, amazing artist, like incredible artist, fucking extremely inspirational, somebody I look up to, right? Really good draftsmanship, drawing from imagination, great lines, great volume, composition, all that shit, right? Yeah, like great visual library, basically just somebody I look up to, right? And they posted a tutorial, which funny enough is the type of tutorial that Antonio's been shitting on as of this year, 2026. They've been putting out a lot of shorts and little reels on Instagram or videos on Instagram on their Artwad account, basically being like, here's how you draw a shark. First, take a cylinder. First, by the way, while I'm talking, I'm thinking. I want to be very clear. Like, while I'm talking, I'm literally thinking about that cube, the sphere inside the cube, and then the center lines, vertical and horizontal, inside the sphere, inside the cube. So, like, talking and drawing, very difficult. Talking and drawing and visualizing. Very incredibly difficult. But I do want to, again, build this skill, right? We want to build the skill of talking while visualizing. I believe this is the box I'm looking at. Her face is projected like so, right? Obviously, I want to extend the size of this box in order for my own sake, right? My own sake. Okay, that's obvious. Okay, I've already made a mistake. And that feels amazing because this is actually way too much. You see that subtlety right there? That was the accurate one. And then while I actually applied it, it was incorrect, which is good. Because when it's incorrect, we make a mistake. And when we make a mistake, what do? We feel good about it, right? Which in turn improves our ability to learn. Objectively, that's literally how it works. Neurobiology, neuroscience, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? But either way, Rusty Draw put out a tutorial, like the type of which Antonio and Artwad team have been shitting on, which is basically, like, for example, like the Artwad team put out a video, what I was saying earlier is like, here's how you draw a shark. Take step 1, draw a cylinder. Step 2, manipulate the cylinder. Step 3, right, add like additional manipulations on top of the cylinder. Step 4, now you can draw a shark and you can draw it from multiple angles. And then they ended with, except you didn't learn anything, right? All you watched was a sped up tutorial, you know? or like a sped up process, right? If you actually want to learn how to draw from imagination, go to artwod, where we give you the work, not the shortcuts. And I love that, where they say we give you the work, not the shortcuts. Again, link in description. I'm not affiliated, but it's true. They do give you the work. You guys can see the work that they give right here, right? And you can see the extra work I'm doing based on the work they give. That is diverging. See, I'm still gonna continue it, but you can see I made a mistake. That would have been diverging if I didn't fix it. Actually, would it have? No, maybe it would have been fine, actually. But yeah, see, yeah, they give you the work, not the shortcuts. That's literally the thing. It's like they literally do give you the work that's necessary to actually get good, right? They don't bullshit you, they don't fuck around, and it's your job to do 10 times the work that they ask of you. I'm telling you right now, it's your job to do 10 times the work, 10 times the work. Because why? Because they still need to be a business, and they still need to cater to beginners. They are coming out with intermediate roads, right? But I'm telling you right now, beginners are pussies, and you're one of them, right? You probably don't do nearly as much effortful practice towards the fundamentals as you think you do, right? So get to it. But anyways, what the fuck am I saying? Jeez, I always end up going on a goddamn oh, we must work harder, the fundamentals. I always end up going on that goddamn tangent. But to the point I'm trying to make, okay, see, so my center line was off too, which is again really, really good. Like my center line was completely off, right? So what does that tell me as well? That means that this was not narrow enough, this box I have here, right? So again, all really good lessons to take in right now, right? Again, I'm drawing the eyebrows, the features, the eyebrows, eyes, and nose, and the lips. Basically what I'm drawing, just to get a relative understanding of the features and how they're placed. Right, maybe right there, I believe. Again, her hair is covering a little bit of her features as well, like her eyebrows, which is fine, because that means that I also have to make slight assumptions here and there, which means that I have to problem solve. Oh, see, I made another mistake. Put the center line here, and then I didn't have her eye follow that center line. So again, like her forehead is non-existent. That's amazing. I just made it, and this is the thing. Like I've been so used to drawing on a sphere when it comes to this, that now drawing on a box is actually more difficult for me when it comes to placing these features. But I'm learning all the same, right? I am learning, and I'm getting an idea of what I need to be doing, right? And by the way, like I will be flicking from topic to topic because I'm still trying to visualize the sphere and the center lines inside the sphere, inside this box, right? So very, very, very difficult, while also retaining some sort of coherence over what I'm talking about, right? But either way, right? Like that's the type of short form content that where like tutorials artwod has basically been making fun of, and I think rightfully so. I genuinely think rightfully so, because those type of tutorials are fucking dog shit. All right, like they are just completely fucking useless. First do this, then do this. Now you can do it all. It's like, no, shut the fuck up. Like just shut the fuck up, right? This isn't me. This is gonna segue horribly, but this is not me shitting on Rusty Draws. I just found it funny how he ended up doing that as well. That's the thing. Like that's what I want to talk about. Is like he put out a, I guess that's the features. And where's the ear? Not that I know where the ear is. Ear's like somewhere around here, right? Yeah, I think this is way too big as well. I think if anything, this is fine, but maybe this is too long. It's hard to see because like obviously her hair is very long. It's covering most of it, but definitely struggling quite a bit with understanding the proportions here. But he basically just put out a video being like, here's how you can draw, like here's three easy steps to draw interesting shapes or something like that. I don't know what it was actually called, but he mentioned here's 3 easy steps, right? And the steps were it was step 1, draw a random shape, right? Organic shape. Step 2, start adding a bunch of fucking contours onto it. Step 3, add details or something, or like rotate or something like that, right? And I was like, this is not easy. So I basically just commented being like, you know, these are not easy steps, right? Beginner's not going to be able to draw a contour on an arbitrary organic form, right? Organic silhouette, essentially. They're not gonna be able to draw a contour in perspective, right? Onto an arbitrary organic silhouette, You know, this requires a strong understanding of cylinders, boxes and cylinders, and being able to do hundreds of those reps in perspective in order to get it down. I'm like, I appreciate the intent to teach, but like, you know, this isn't bad. This isn't easy. And he basically said no. He said, you are wrong, right? This is easy. And also, like, in order, like, I guess he was honest in the sense that he's like, in order to play with the user's attention, I can't give them everything. And then he showed me his course where he's like, if you want more info like on how to do this, check out my fucking course. So I was a bit disappointed. I still respect him immensely as an artist, but I was a bit disappointed. I'm not disappointed by the tutorial in the sense that like I think he's an incredible artist. Okay, now on to the next thing, which is to visualize and hold this. Yeah, I think he's an incredible artist, but I am disappointed by, just again, as with most professionals, art professionals, anybody who's skilled in anything, but in this context of art, right? Most of them just literally just forget what it's like to begin, right? To be a beginner. So for him, he's like, it's not, he literally said, no, he basically said, that's incorrect. It isn't difficult. And then he just said what I said, which is because you're taking a shape, he just said it in a different way, which is you're taking a shape and then you're adding, and he's like, I make it easy to understand because I call them curves. And I'm just thinking, that doesn't make it easy to understand. That's actually more confusing because the curves don't mean anything. You're not telling them it's three-dimensional. So again, like, not everybody's meant to teach either, right? And I'm not saying I'm an incredible teacher either, right? But I was just disappointed that the mindset or like the lack of understanding of what is actually difficult for beginners permeated within his content as well. But I guess he was honest about the fact that, hey, like, he's doing it for the algorithm or whatever. But I just laughed. I'm like, this is just too good timing. Literally, like, fucking earlier today, I watched one of their artwod things, basically doing a tutorial like that, which is like, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, you just like, you can do it everything. And they're like, no, you can't actually, by the way, that's fucking wrong. Go to our website, we'll give you the work to actually understand it. But then Rusty Draws, I believe, did the exact same thing, and I just chuckled. And you know, I am passionate and I care about providing good art information, so I was just like, this isn't easy. Like, please don't at least call it easy, right? Like, it's not easy. But yeah, that's just something. I was disappointed, right? It is always disappointing when somebody you look up to just doesn't understand their own target audience almost. Because if you're gonna sell to beginners, right? If you're gonna sell to beginners, you must understand the beginner, right? You must actually give a shit about that beginner. But whether it's insidious, malicious, whether it's malicious, not insidious, whether it's malicious or whether it's unintentional, right? It's selling a false hope or a false dream of this should be easy. Again, like, it's language has power. I'm not saying him specifically, but yeah, like, he's part of the problem, but the general you is what I'm saying. Like, you're being disruptive to someone's learning process when you tell them something is easy, because nothing is easy. Learning is not easy, and nothing is easy within learning, right? Again, what am I doing right now? While I'm fucking talking, I'm literally visualizing the box, I'm visualizing the sphere inside the box, and I'm trying to calculate the angles of the center line, horizontal and vertical, right? Inside the sphere, inside the box. That's step 1 of my 3 layers of visualization of perspective. Sorry, step 1 of 3 perspective layers of visualization, right? That's just step 1. Step 2 now, what do I want to design? What do I want to design, right? And that's just like another 15 questions open up. What is good design? What are the shapes I'm trying to make? Blah, 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 right? Like, fucking the angle ratios, the different planes that they cross over. Do they have functionality, right? Like, what are the big, medium, small shapes that I want to do? Do I even understand big, medium, small, right? And that's all predicated on me again, that's why this is the base that I have to really get down, right? Because the less cognitive energy I spend on being able to visualize the box, visualize the sphere inside the box, and visualize the center lines inside the sphere inside the box accurately to what I've already done here, the easier time I'm going to have focusing on design, right? But yeah, that's just, I guess, what I want to talk about regarding yet another example of someone who's very skilled, who has forgotten their own beginner journey, essentially. It's not easy. I know none of this is easy. I know even drawing a fucking clean line like this for a beginner is not easy. Trust me. For me, it's still thousands and thousands of repetitions, right? It's still thousands and thousands of repetitions. If there's at least one person on the internet who can assure you that putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours to become slightly less mediocre is normal, it's me, okay? I'm telling you right now. Okay, like, I understand. If you need someone, even if you don't want to watch my content, listen to my content, whatever, if you just need like a reminder every now and then of like, dude, this is fucking hard and it's going to take me dozens and dozens of hours just to get slightly better, right? And it takes immense effort, but that effort will amount to something. whether now or whether 10 years from now, refer to this channel. I will and am will be living. I will and am will be. I will be living proof of that. Oh, fucking garbage. Never mind. I'm not proof of anything. Don't listen to me. Fucking shit. Can't even speak. Okay, so let's again. I've just been really trying to focus on visualizing that perfect sphere inside the box. But it's time to obviously start designing and drawing. So one thing I'm really picking up on, and or like I'm understanding, whether I'm picking up on it comes down to whether I can apply it, obviously. But one thing I'm starting to understand a little bit more is just that it's like I do not do enough large shapes. You know what I mean? Like I don't do enough large shapes. So I need to start doing large shapes, right? Because right now I do a lot of tiny shapes and then I try attaching them. I need to start attaching large shapes is what I'm noticing when it comes to good design, right? So we can start off with this, set the contour of the box relatively right, relatively right. I'm just trying to think. And obviously, designing large graphic shapes is a skill, right? Like whether I actually am going to be able to execute at a level which I'll find to be appropriate, which I never will be, because let's be honest, that's not how learning works. You're never going to execute at the level you want to. You're just simply going to execute at the level that you're able to, right? That's the disparity in which people have expectations about what they should be able to do and what they are able to do. But it's the striving to be able to do to that standard is what creates growth, right? It's the striving, the effort, as I always say. Right, it's genuinely just the striving, but there you go, something like that. And again, like I completely lost the box and the perspective there, so I have to bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. I don't know. I don't remember what song that is. But either way. Something like this, right? Okay, so we're starting off with a sphere, right? We're trying to get the large, generalized shapes. This is what I'm doing right now, is just trying to get the large, generalized shapes. But again, will it be enough? The answer is most likely no, right? Just objectively speaking, the answer is most likely no, it's not enough. Right? And that's okay. And that's okay. That's the main thing to take away is like, it's okay that it won't be enough, right? Because you're thinking of so much. So you must understand that what you're thinking of and what you're capable of is not going to result in the things that you want, right? It's just not going to result in the things that you want. So I already made a mistake here, but I wonder if I can work around it. I wonder if I can actually pretend like that mistake didn't happen. There you go. And then we can do something like this. Yeah, there you go. And then that goes around. And already I feel as if that's a lot better. While it may be difficult to read, that's not the main point right now. The main point is to get something that has some semblance of sense, I guess. But it still may not be enough. Now, like that, I know that doesn't make any sense. I know, like I messed that up completely. I'm well aware. I'm well aware, right? But it's the attempt to constantly try to see, which I'm trying to focus on, right? And this is where I need to, again, large graphic shapes, right? Large graphic shapes. And And that's hopefully what I'm trying to accomplish with this. Because then again, like large graphic shapes, but then tiny details inside those shapes, right? Something like this maybe. Whether it is, and then again, I can just kind of fraud it. And again, I completely lost the perspective again multiple times, but the main thing obviously is to keep trying to see that sphere with the center lines inside that box, right? This is again going to be very incorrect. Like let's, because we have to set that understanding within ourselves. Why am I speaking like that? Within ourselves, right? We have to set that understanding within ourselves, because it's always the expectation to perform in the manner in which you are not capable of that results in the frustration, right? Like most of the time, I think it's fair to say that that is what results in the frustration. So in order to reduce or remove that frustration, it's about saying, hey, I am going to draw garbage, right? I am not going to draw anything good. I'm simply attempting to get to that point. And then when the effort that you put towards essentially, because what you're doing is you're putting the effort towards not being the person that you are, right? And the brain responds, neurochemically speaking, the brain responds when you and that's why recognizing your errors is so important, because the brain responds when you recognize that, hey, you are not being the person that you want. I'm obviously speaking about this in extreme layman's terms, but there is an objective understanding. See, like I already fucked up the perspective quite a bit, but let's see if I can make up for it. But yeah, there's an objective, there you go. Let's see if that's the angle. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there is an objective understanding by the brain, right? That, I think I messed that up too, definitely. But it's kind of like when you have standards and then you are not matching those standards, right? And you recognize you're not matching those standards. As long as you recognize you're not matching those standards, the brain, in all its beauty of neuroplasticity, also recognizes that you're not matching those standards, which is why making mistakes is the best thing you can do for yourself, because you are essentially reinforcing to yourself that this is not the standard. And then when you feel good about not reaching that standard, that's when beautiful things within neuroplasticity occur, right? That's when you attach, again, I always talk about this, right? When you attach dopamine to the process, yeah, like see, like this angle is super off, but at the very least, we are in the midst of designing something that is less cluttered, right? And it always takes me like, one step forward, fucking 10 steps back for me, right? And that's just how it is. That's just how it is if you're average like me. It's always going to be one step forward and 10 steps back, but those steps forward will consistently reinforce to you that you are stepping, if that makes sense. Like you are still taking steps. And that's what matters at the end of the day, right? Because progress is not this. Progress is, right? And the time span is not 5 months. The time span is 5 years, right? So the sooner you can just continue to internalize to yourself years, effort, the better off you'll be in the long term, like genuinely the better off you'll be in the long term. There's a lot of issues here as well, but this is kind of what being able to just wrap around a perfect sphere, hopefully perfect-esque sphere, will do for you. There you go. See? It's not bad. And obviously it's not perfect at all, and it's just now, again, because I want large shapes, we can maybe do something like this, right? There you go, see? Something like that. And to even, oh, okay, see, like I kind of made a mistake here because I didn't know that's what I was gonna do, but Again, we can just make that connected like so, right? And connect it like so here on the contour. And it's like, okay, see, now these are shapes that are, again, hopefully large, graphic, right? Nothing impressive. Even here, like if I were to add a large shape here, I'm trying to think, maybe something like, well, I say large, but maybe just something that's jutting out. Doesn't really work, does it? Fucking 4 nostrils. That's what you get for being an abomination. There you go. But I think already I'm getting it slightly better in terms of just trying to keep things. They're basically supposed to be, what I'm understanding is like large graphic shapes that are attached onto each other. And again, seeing it on Pinterest, understanding it is completely different than doing it, right? Actually doing it and also trying to visualize multiple things at once. You know, so the box I ended up doing here is clearly something like this. Even though I tried fixing it multiple times, my brain could not comply because it was too busy trying to visualize. This is the box that it ended up being, unintentionally, but it just, again, goes to show like how much effort has to be put in just to create something mediocre. And I don't think I put that box even correctly over the sphere, but, and I just want to make it very clear, like it's just gotta keep trying. Just gotta keep trying. There you go. There's something like that. There's always like little accents and shit I can add, but we'll leave this for now. And I'm gonna keep trying to. This is actually good because I feel as if I finally got the balance of visualizing large shapes and just thinking in terms of just large graphic shapes that rest on each other or rest on what, in this case, the form being the sphere, right? So that way I get to just think, okay, like graphic shape, you know, large, you know, again, box, cylinder, sphere inside the box, contour lines inside the sphere inside the box. That's like the basic thing I'm always trying to think about, right? But now I can really improve my form wrapping as well while as thinking about like, okay, just large shapes, large graphic shapes that are just placed. By graphic, I mean like the silhouette or the surface is graphic, and like the shape is large, right? But they are forms. They are manipulated forms, as you can see, right? But the silhouette has a graphic shape to it. Again, trust me, like I do not like the word interesting shape, graphic shape, large graphic shape. It doesn't mean shit to me. It literally doesn't mean shit to me. And all it tells me is it's like a fucking buzzword. But that's why by analyzing, again, in my example, just constantly going on Pinterest boards, not constantly, but at least like 20 minutes a day, cumulative, throughout my day to day, I'll just go on Pinterest and I'll go on my little helmet section that gets recommended to me because based on my helmets board that I've created, right? I got like a helmet section. That's how Pinterest works. It recommends things based on your boards. But like I go through those and I'm like, okay, that looks interesting. Why does that look interesting? Okay, it's like big shapes, right? Now I'm really starting to realize they're just like kind of big shapes placed all around. What is the sphere? Right? Obviously, way more jutting out and manipulating and stuff like that. But I'm trying to limit myself to just the sphere to make sure to see if I can make the sphere, like things being tied around to a sphere, look interesting. And this already kind of looks a lot better, right? But yeah, and then like little details inside of those graphic shapes. That's just what I believe. Again, I will create a mech or hard surface something course later on when I myself am proficient. Don't get me wrong, but like let's see, like how can I divert attention to this eye? Right? Like, how can that look interesting? You know, with considering there's not much space that's even here, right? Is it just, do I just fill it in? Like, do I literally just fill it in? Right? And then shade, what's it called? Like, yeah, fill it in and then shade it. I guess that kind of works. It definitely looks like an eye area now of sorts. Anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain and then we're gonna do the next rep. Again, every session I'll just stick to one perspective and really try to get it down. Because that way I'm getting more reps and just practicing that one perspective and visualizing it as per the box, the sphere, and the center lines, right? But yeah, good shit. Look at that. Half an hour of sheer effort. But that's what I mean, guys. It's all effort, right? So let me rest my brain. I'm sure I went on 5 tangents and I'm sure I concluded none of them. So you're welcome. But yeah, rest your brain with me. Sometimes I forget how fast I speak. I'm trying to work on it, but clearly not, because I haven't fucking worked on it one bit, and it's been an entire year. Enunciation, pronunciation, speed, eloquence, right? Stuttering, all that good shit. But I haven't worked on any of it at all. But either way, let's just continue. But sometimes like because I'll listen to my own video just to see if everything sounds good, right? Or I'll just have it playing in the background while I'm editing it or some shit, or while it's exporting sometimes. It's like here and there for a few minutes. Plus, I like the sound of my own voice because I'm a fucking narcissist, clearly. But sometimes I'm like, damn, this guy's speaking. This guy being me, I'm like, wow, is this shit sped up? And then I'm like, oh no, it's not sped up. I'm just hyper as fuck, I guess. It's what it is. It's what it is. Right? Deep voice, deep manly YouTuber voice. Fucking annoying. Some days I actually sound like me, but for some reason when I record, I don't really sound like me, man. I don't really sound like me at all. See, like now I'm not gonna look at the reference, I'm just trying to recall, because recalling is a huge part of learning, right? Recalling is a huge part of learning. So I think I made this box way too big, but her face is tilted away, so we're definitely seeing less of this plane than we are of this plane. So I think this is accurate in that sense, right? And even though this tilt is too much, it's already an improvement from this one. So we're definitely getting there. For sure, we're getting there. Right, and again, just trying to recall and remember how her face is positioned, because that's another part. It's like I do want to be able to recall, and I want to be able to visualize the sphere. And a lot of the times when I am drawing, I can't visualize everything at once, quote unquote, yet. Right, I will be able to, given enough decades and repetitions. Right? Yeah, people don't see how much work it takes to be fucking shit. Right? You guys really don't. I mean, now you are. You're welcome, by the way, because 30 years from now, the question of how much work does it take to get good will be answered by this channel, because it'll be full of 30 years of effort. All right? I know that's one of the main things, right? I don't want any fucking retarded beginner going on Reddit or whatever version of Reddit exists in the future being like, are the fundamentals really that important? Because I want every single one of those forums to just be posted with my YouTube channel to be like, yes, look what they practiced, right? And then the cope will begin. They'll be like, well, if you don't want to work that hard, then that's completely fine, right? But the pure, unadulterated, raw, unfiltered, fucking girthy truth will be posted, right? And it will be present. That's one of like, I have many goals, but one of like the little fucking long-term jerk myself off, I'm the GOAT type goals is purely just so in the future when anybody posts any sort of question regarding the importance of fundamentals, my channel is just linked, and it's like, yes, you know. And then people will criticize, be like, he's too hardcore, he didn't have to do it this way, and he's shit and this and like all those things. But the truth that, hey, he got exponentially better consistently over decades because he practiced the fundamentals. That no matter how you flavor that quote unquote opinion, which is just a raw fact, it can't be changed, and you can't hide from that. Which is what I want to inspire, right? I want to inspire that in people, that they can achieve these things, you know? And you can, you 100% can, right? Again, I only draw for an hour to two a day, by the way. And in this age of people who don't do fucking anything, I'm sure that sounds like a lot. Oh my god, you do things for an hour to 2 hours a day? You guys would fucking lose your minds if I told you what else I do with my day, right? Because it must be impossible to be productive 24/7, right? Yes, you're absolutely right. I cannot for the life of me figure out how someone can draw for 1 to 2 hours a day, code for 2 hours a day, job apply for 1 hour a day, play piano for an hour a day, go to the gym for 2 hours a day, still get 8 hours of sleep, and then spend the other two hours eating, and another hour stretching. I don't understand how somebody could do that. It must be impossible because nobody else has done it before, right? Especially since this person, they must have had some sort of genetic advantage, some sort of privileged life. I am privileged. I am fortunate in the fact that I have a family, my dad supports me, and I'm able to, while I'm jobless, do these things. But guess what? Even when I had a job, I was doing these things. I just wasn't drawing for 2 hours, I was drawing for 1 hour. Wow, would you look at that drastic change in my fucking thing? And I wasn't learning coding because I had a fucking job and I didn't need to upskill. I was just doing 6 to 8 hours of my job, right? So yeah, your time is what you make of it. There you go. I don't know what point I was trying to make there, but in essence, I always come up with random false fucking narratives. This is my plight, right? If somebody's gonna insult me, I'm gonna insult myself first. Now I'm exempt from criticism. Beautiful. Fucking genius, to be honest. Absolute genius strat. Why didn't I think of that before? Oh wait, I have. That's why I'm doing it right now. God tier shit. But I mean, yeah, one of the main things I want is for this channel to be referred to whenever anybody comes up with any excuses as to why they can't put in the work. That's actually like a pretty big one, right? Because again, you can put in the work. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And people seem to, I've noticed, like, because again, Reddit is not a great place to get any sort of fucking Reddit is not a good place to get an understanding of like a good person, like a good, normal, mentally healthy person, right? Because it is part of the internet, and the internet has just become a place that sensationalizes and fosters negativity, right? That's just kind of what it's become, you know? Okay, and this ellipse is way too wide, so I'm clearly doing something wrong here. What I'm doing wrong is I have to cut that off a little. There you go. See, now that's a much better sphere. Right, but either way, all my fucking made up bullshit in my mind aside, what I want is, in the future, when somebody says, you know, are the fundamentals important, that my channel is linked, being like, hey, look, here's some, yeah, they're pretty fucking important. Look, this guy only practiced the fundamentals, right? And like, yeah, his personality is really annoying, and you know, you could just ignore him, like ignore the things he says, right? Ignore like the way he speaks, but look at the work he's put in. If that, even that would make me really happy, right? Because at the end of the day, I want to prove that anybody can put the work in. But either way, where is her ear? Oh, her ear's like right here. Fuck, are we looking at the bottom of her jaw? I don't know where the fuck her ear is. I've been assuming we're seeing a top-down perspective, right? But perhaps it's incorrect. And yeah, these boxes are not correct. So clearly, like, I have a lot to work on with just the box itself now, evidently, right? Because now that I have to project her face inside a box, I think it's clear. I think looking at Antonio's example, yeah, looking at Antonio's example in the lesson video itself, right? I'm going to check back on it, but I'm pretty sure he draws the cube much more elongated. So it's not a perfect cube. My job is just to translate the perspective into a perfect sphere, right? A perfect cube into a perfect sphere. Or a sphere is a perfect circle. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But either way, this is kind of it, I guess. Like, it's okay. It's getting better, the perspective, but now we obviously have to translate that in our minds and turn it into a sphere, right? So I do want to think about more just different shapes. Just different shapes. So if we made it wrap around like that, I obviously want to do something. Okay, if this is my perspective, right? I've made it a bit more, less. This is like a very subtle difference between these two, but I think I'm getting closer to how her eye is actually positioned. From here to the actual reference, I believe there's just a slight difference of about this much, right? Like, this is actually the reference. Yeah, see that I think that's relatively accurate. Again, I could be wrong, but it looks pretty accurate to me now, right? And again, we build our eyes, so when you make mistakes, you feel good. But yeah, what I want for this channel is just people to refer to it, be like, hey, you can put this work into. Yes, the fundamentals are important. Look what you can achieve, and look how you can make drawing the fundamentals fun. I really hope that's the fucking takeaway that people get, right? Of course, retards will always be like, oh, no, doing difficult things is shitty, and you know, like, I'm just gonna doodle, and that's good for me. Like, yeah, that's good for you, but it's all about being honest with yourself. If you're someone who wants to achieve a high level of proficiency in anything, in this case, the domain of art, and more specifically, you know, line drawing from imagination, excellent draftsmanship, right? Then specific effort will have to put it towards specific endeavors with specific amounts of hours, right? I.e., a shit ton of effort over years and years on end and hundreds of hours towards your fundamentals, right? Fucking, just, that's all I want. That's all I want, everybody. I just want you to know that you can do it, and you can enjoy the effort by just focusing on the effort, and you can enjoy doing difficult things. God damn it. I'm inspirational. I should continue. Just always inspiring. But I'm also thinking, so it's very difficult, right? Very, very difficult. Now let's see. I do believe that we've gotten a relative idea of the center line again. Right, I guess I just need to... what large graphic shapes can I make towards the eye line, right? I'm just trying to think. Because I think visualizing the contours is probably, not probably, visualizing everything is fucking clearly important, but I really need to visualize these contours and the size of the sphere, right? Like that makes a huge difference, you know? Like that genuinely makes a huge difference. So maybe this one I'll try and make a bit bigger. But even with that being said, right, let's try something like, because again, it's pretty subtle, and I really have to imagine the sphere. So let's do something like this, right? And I'm trying to think about the sphere and its sizing. Okay, so I already fucked that up, but this is the beauty of multiple rounding is that things can still align appropriately without yeah, without actually fucking things up, right? Like we can make shit up is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I did that correctly, but let's just think. Right, for a second, let's just think and try to get the sphere relatively accurate. Let's see. Okay, so I'm still having a lot of trouble visualizing the box and the sphere inside the box and the center lines inside the sphere inside the box. And I think I've already fucked up the contours. But perhaps things can be salvaged, right? Perhaps things can be salvaged. But I'm just trying to think about like a shape that can be done, right? Because I got this. Maybe it should just be something like that, right? Like a bump. There you go. Maybe I could just do something like this. That if we make that the center line, which was not the plan originally, by the way. This is, do you notice how I'm saying maybe, maybe, maybe? Because it wasn't the original plan. You know, this could have been something completely different. But just trying to think in terms of this particular there you go. And then maybe something jutting out like that. This continues to go through, right? And now hopefully we're starting to create some semblance of a design. But this is actually the fun part. Well, I mean, it's all the fun part, but now, again, it's all problem solving, right? Like I'm trying to problem solve while visualizing 3 layers of perspective. What is the problem I'm trying to solve? Decent design. What type of design? Right now, large graphic shapes which wrap around a sphere, right? So, incredibly difficult problem to solve. Like genuinely incredibly difficult problem to solve. But the point is, over hundreds and hundreds of repetitions and hundreds of hours, I will solve it. It's a time thing, right? It's not an if. It's never an if when you're putting the effort in. It's simply when. And when is just purely your rate of learning. How fast are you changing your behavior based on the external stimulus, right? For me, because I'm fucking stupid, it's probably going to take me longer. If I try to recall as well, maybe that will help, right? You know, maybe that will help, but nothing is guaranteed. Maybe I could do something like this, actually. Wait, so if we have something like this. And then we have, let's see, I'm just trying to think. Something like that. I'm just trying to think right now. Should have made that probably more prominent. But again, I'm trying to see the box. It's really difficult. Really difficult. This should probably... There you go. Maybe that will make something more compelling. And why don't we do something like that? And let's just see. So I fucked that up, but it's okay because we've had to adjust and make up for it. I'm trying to, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to wrap a shape around this, right? Hopefully, I do apologize because the lack of communication can make things annoying. I understand, but I'm trying to think while I do this, right? So what type of shape? There you go. Maybe something like this. Right? Just a large shape that does wrap around, but there you go, something like that. And is this even accurate? Who knows? Right? Oof, really struggling with this one. Just trying to make sense of it all. Right, maybe that works, maybe that doesn't. That probably doesn't work. I was trying to just create graphic shapes that were wrapping around, but I don't think it works. Right, but that's okay. That's how it usually goes. And then maybe in order to make up for this deficiency, right, we have something like let's see. I don't know, something that's wrapping around like so. Right? It's like another plating of sorts, maybe. Not much thought going into this, I'll be honest. So obviously I need to take a step back and be like, am I in extreme discomfort? The answer right now is most definitely not. Right? Most definitely not. So we just need to figure out what is causing me not to be in discomfort. Right? So if that's coming in here, okay, so already like the perspective is actually pretty different. Perspective is actually pretty fucking different. It's actually more accurate to the perspective of which the actual portrait reference is, right? But comparative to the actual reference, like this perspective, it is not accurate. We can accept that and we can just say it's okay, because what else can we say apart from it's okay, right? But let's see. Oh wait, that was wrong. See? Another perspective mistake, which we'll just have to accept. There you go. That doesn't really work at all. But let's see if I can make this come about on the other side as accurately as I can. So how does that work? It'll be something like this. Gonna come around there. And then we'll bring it back like that. Okay, that kind of works. But of course the lines are suffering drastically, evidently, right? Yeah, I guess, not I guess, but for sure my plating, like the thing where I'm trying to add plating to things, needs a lot more intentionality, right? My shapes obviously will always need, of course, more intentionality, right? That's just a given. But let's see if I can do something here. There you go. And then what about on the other side? What does that look like? What does that look like? See, because it's coming out, jutting out there. Something like this. Nope, that's off perspective. There you go. That's way off perspective. That really hurt my brain. That really fucking hurt my brain. But that's just how it is. See? That's not even a perfect sphere anymore. Yeah, see, so we're pretty off on many things. Slowly but surely, I'll start understanding actually how to add larger shapes onto these designs, right? It's only been 51 minutes. So I think I'm gonna rest my brain and we're gonna try again. And we're gonna do, and it's okay, I'll go into like an hour and 15. But yeah, we'll just call this rep 7.5 because I'll do it again, but I'm gonna rest my brain. That was good practice. That was definitely good practice. I just think I need to push the graphic nature of the shapes even more, right? Which is what, just to make the perspective clear, right? It's actually like relatively accurate this time around. It wasn't bad. I should probably be going more over, but either way, like it wasn't bad. It was more like this, right? So we're seeing this is actually more accurate to the reference. So, and I know the sphere is completely off, right? But like, yeah, whatever. This is the box. Actually extend this out a little. The thing is, like, it's not about whatever, because I know it's not whatever. Trust me, I'm well aware none of this is whatever. I kind of just say that because I can't really do anything about it. But I can't really see, that's how fucking fast I speak. Even I'm aware. But do it again, and really try to get that visualization down. It's difficult, extremely fucking difficult. I genuinely think it'll take me like half a year to get this visualization of the box, the sphere, and the center lines inside of it down. But it's 100% worthwhile in my humble opinion. But yeah, let me rest my brain. That's a lot of effort. The thing is, like, because I hold myself to such a standard, many times it's actually difficult to know whether I'm putting in as much effort as I possibly could. Because I'm genuinely juggling so many things in my mind when I'm trying this whole, like, wrapping hard surface shapes around a sphere, which again is inside of a box, which again has its own contour lines. That, for me, it's hard to tell whether I'm even doing anything that's decent. But you know what? This time around, I think I'm gonna start with the face line, if that makes sense. Right? I just want to establish my large ass shape from the beginning. Right? There you go. And I want to genuinely make it like a legitimate shape that has merit. So again, this is where me visualizing the contours will come in handy, because hold up. See, I'm trying to think right now. There you go. Okay, so that is already my sphere has been established relatively, right? And now I just need to, I say just, but now I need to perhaps something like this. There you go. Right? Let's see. And bring it down like that. Right? Okay, so large shape already. Like, this is what I'm trying to achieve, right? Like, this whole concept of silhouette. This is genuinely what I'm trying to achieve. So, same thing if I do something here, you know, where we could have something that is let's see. Again, trying to keep that sphere in mind. Like, genuinely trying to keep that sphere in mind. It's because it's all about large shapes. And, of course, some will be larger than others. Right? That's just an inevitability. And I think that inevitability is what allows room for some sort of growth to occur regarding like ideation, right? So right now this may not look like much, but I'm hoping it will mean something. Right? I'm trying to think in graphic shapes right now, while hopefully keeping this in mind. Because, like, see, I didn't even mean for this to become what it did, but there you go, something like that. Like, what does that mean again? It's like, I don't know anymore. What did I want to do with that? We'll have to see. Let's see. Just trying to think right now. Just really trying to think right now. Maybe this is actually what this is going to end up being, which is just a little plating right here. Maybe what this is now also plating on the other side, right? Same with this. Something like that. Right? And, okay, see, these shapes are way too small, so we need to start thinking bigger again. And that comes down to, maybe, let's see, I don't know. So that was a mistake, and we have to live with that mistake. Right? We genuinely have to live with that mistake, but it doesn't mean that I can at least try. To create some sort of meaning behind those mistakes. Right, whether I did it incorrectly or correctly. Here I definitely did it relatively incorrectly, but let's just do something like that, right? Okay. Didn't mean to do that at all. And now we have to finish this sphere. And perhaps that can be done by adding, again, try to keep that box in mind. Line work is definitely taking a hit, which is good because that means it can always be better, right? Maybe I have an addition right there. I didn't think I'd need a third one, but I feel as if for the sake of consistency I will. let's something like that. And maybe it will have additional jut outs that occur, right? And this is where, of course, I finish the sphere, at least that part of the sphere. This is good. Like, I actually, like, even though this has a lot of mistakes, like so many fucking issues, I at least feel like I'm starting to understand how I can make things connect and seem relatively interesting. But again, I know I say that all the time, so never take it for anything apart from just me being like, maybe I'm not so shit after all, right? But either way, let's see. Again, like I lost the perspective multiple times there, but let's see. Oh, see, that sphere is making it a bit too big, so we gotta curve that a bit better. It's like, because obviously I didn't add anything on the other side, I'm just gonna have to not add anything here, I guess. I guess that'll just have to be what it is. There you go. So, like, obviously I fucked up the perspective now because I made this larger than I meant to. But hey, perspective is still getting better, and I'm definitely starting to see things a bit better. The whole like idea of adding the graphic shapes is helping quite a bit. And you know, I think just to make things just to be a bit clear, I think it's just better to make this connected. We don't need anything to like be attached, right? I can just add little details like this, I guess, you know. And the same here, we can just block this out, and maybe it'll give more attention to different parts of the design, right? Now what can this be? Like obviously I want this to at least have some sort of big shape, so maybe I can do something like now. Maybe that doesn't look so good. The answer is it 100% doesn't look so good, but it is a large shape and I can perhaps add some detail like so, and also make it part of this design. Not that it looks good, to be honest, right? And how would I connect these? Because these are obviously not super connected at the moment. Something like this? Who knows? I guess like for fucking design's sake, we could just add little things like this. Where it's like, ooh. Right? Even though that's actually pretty off perspective. But it does create this sort of, there you go, like little armor plating aesthetic. Right? Ta-da! Something like that. And yeah, it should be, of course, existing on the other side, but I'm just gonna allow this to be like so on the time being. Maybe it's just something that's only on this side, right? Who knows? Who knows? We do get to create the story a little bit, but okay. Like again, it's all like a lot of this comes down to mental reframing, right? Like if a lot of this does come down to mental reframing, because I've made generally relatively interesting designs like this perhaps before, right? But it's the constant reframing that I have to, obviously, because I'm thinking so hard, I have to keep in mind. Actually, this perspective is actually pretty accurate compared to the reference, but at the same time, I think we're seeing the top of the head a bit too much. Yeah, it's looking, it's not bad. It's actually not bad at all, but it's definitely Seeing the top of the head a bit too much. Well, I'll be back in roughly. I might actually. Maybe I'll eat. Maybe I'll eat. Who knows? But I'll be back in roughly whatever time. But I will be back. This is fucking great, great, great fucking topic, whatever, conversation topic. But either way, I hope you put a lot of effort in. That was genuinely that was really fun. Like I think I'm consistently just trying, which is all that matters, right? I don't like saying things permanent, like I'm getting better, because it'll all go to shit. I'll be like, damn, why did I speak? But I definitely think I can continue to internalize the large graphic shapes on top of the sphere and then continue to visualize and really build the skill of box, sphere inside the box, center lines inside the sphere inside the box. Extremely difficult, but I think it's January, what is it? Fucking January 20th right now. I think definitely by my birthday, September 25th, I definitely think I can internalize it with at least 60% consistency. I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. Right now I'm at like 20 to 40% consistency. I think I think 60% consistency is definitely feasible. So yeah, okay, cool, wonderful. I hope you put a lot of effort in. I hope you enjoyed. And with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me a